Well, an ASL consultant really means someone who looks at a script that has a deaf character and analyzes the script to make sure the signs are correct, to make sure the style of signing is accurate, whether it be academic or street smart, depending on the variety of script language that's there. Well, my manager ended up calling me and asked me if I would be interested in being a part of this film. And I thought, well, Creed 3, why would they ask me to be a part of this? And then I realized at the end of Creed 2, they had a deaf daughter. I remembered that in the movie and thought it would be super critical to be a part of this film because today, a lot of parents that have deaf children don't know sign language. They don't know how to communicate with their children. And so my dream has always been that my parents would learn sign language. And if I could make that dream a reality, even in a film, that would be so impactful. Well, before I actually came to this project, I did make a video of myself. And it kind of outlines some guidelines and processes to working with deaf people in general. How to use sign language interpreters on set, what light needed to be adjusted for communication purposes. So that way the crew could watch the video and understand what to do and to be comfortable while they're doing it and not have to think about it. Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I making a mistake? And that way, when I came on set, there was so many crew members who knew a little bit of sign language. They could finger spell their name and gesture with me. And that was just so inspiring. This environment really became an inclusive environment. And we all became a close-knit family automatically since day one. And I felt it was very inclusive, which was a joy to be a part of. I'm so happy that that exposure is out there, that the deaf community has a chance to stand on a platform and to say, we did it. It's about time, right? I had never met Mila prior to this film. They, casting, picked her, and I honestly was a little bit uncertain because I wasn't sure of her signing style. And I wanted to make sure that it matched, Mike and Tessa's, and as well as Miss Rashad's signing style, that they would be able to have a similar style and communicate as a family in the film. So when she showed up and I realized who they had cast and I saw the way she signed, she is just a brilliant person and sassy to the core. So when I met her, oh, I just loved working with her. I feel like she's my little sister at this point. Mike is so talented, so immensely talented. How he's able to do all of this is just amazing. He memorized the signs very quickly with no problem, and he's aware of making sure that this film remains authentic. So he'll check in with me after he signs something and say, well, did that work? How did that look? Should I do something better? And I really appreciate that feedback and that open communication. Now, as for Tessa, oh my goodness, such an easy person to work with. She's very spiritual and loving, and she does take her time and making sure that she communicates in the proper way. Mila plays Amara, and so she wants to feel that connection with her daughter, not just ASL as a device where she's just signing to her, but to be emotionally connected with her through ASL. And Tessa did an amazing job, and you'll see that in the film. I remember there's one specific scene in the movie. It was at the youth correctional facility, and we were talking about positioning, where Mike and Tessa should sit. I was in the middle, Tessa was on my left, Mike was on my right, and I was showing them the lines that they were going to do and prepare for that scene. And it completely triggered me. And the reason is because I felt in that moment that they both were my parents and that the fact that they were signing to me made me so emotional. So Tessa started crying, and then the interpreter started crying, and then the other crew started crying. It really impacted me in that moment to say, my parents are signing, finally. And so I'll never forget that part, and I'll take it with me wherever I go. I think the most fun part of this film would have to be getting to laugh and joke and loosen up and not just feel we have to follow our lines and be robotic in the way that we come across, but how to make this production fun. And they allowed me to teach the crew sign language, which was such an enjoyable day. For me, that was one of the most memorable times, was being able to communicate with the entire crew. I want Hollywood, film, and TV industries to incorporate more deaf actors. Not just deaf actors, but deaf behind the scenes, whether they be ASL consultants, deaf and costume and design, wardrobe, making sure that, the ASL consultant doesn't have to run to every single department, but people there that understand and have deaf people more involved in the production. And that would be my biggest hope for the future.